So I'm Fiona, and I'm a psychologist at, I've been in CAF services for a long time, and I'm currently working in the inpatient unit as in the community teams for a long time. Yeah.
And I'm Amy, so I'm also a psychologist. Work with Fiona a wee bit, but I'm in the outpatient team. So we cross over in some of our work, but are in the different
So what
spots.
are the patients, what are the ailments, main ailments?
Lots of anxiety,
Yeah.
so today's topical,
Yeah.
but all sorts really,
Yeah,
like
I
the whole
guess
kind of...
Our specialisation as psychologists is working with young people, children, young people and families, but then it can be anything that can present. So as Amy said, anxiety is probably the most common presentation in young people.
You're successful in what you do, or that you actually
I often
get
say,
a good success rate?
Yeah, it's obviously there's challenges along the way, but I often say to kids when I'm meeting them that my job would be really horrible if we weren't seeing any success. So because it's really hard often for kids and young people to feel like there's any hope of things being better. But yes, we do, like that's the part of the job that keeps us in it, I think, or at least for me. I assume for you as well, Fiona, that is the seeing.
And seeing people move on, and move out of the service. That's really, really good.
So,
and I guess that's why I like to work with this age group.
Yeah. And
work with families, because it feels like you can make more meaningful, longer term change. Yeah.
So the wave of anxiety, do you think that's going to get worse or better, or?
It's difficult to know if, I think there's certainly, it's hard for people to put out what's going on for them when they're feeling anxious. And it's probably a little easier nowadays than it was 30 years ago. And at the same time, I think our lives have got much more pressured. There's things are expected to happen sort of immediately, and that you have to take on so many things at the same time. I think stress buckets get overloaded really quickly.
And I think that's the thing with that, it being kind of easier to talk about or acknowledge mental health difficulties now, on the one hand means that we see more, like we're more aware of how many people are struggling. But it also does mean that there's more opportunity for help and to actually kind of engage in acknowledging it and doing something about it. So there's there's often quite a lot of particular contextual things, life events. And if we think about Christchurch, young people growing up in Christchurch over the last 20 years have had to deal with a number of big, if unexpected, really unusual events, and that primes us to be hyper aroused in some way from a young age too. With earthquakes and shootings and COVID, and those are out of the ordinary events. There might be even another little piece in that what I think of with anxiety is often it's about really needing to feel in control, because it feels so out of control. And the world, and actually when things in the past, like at school, were much more structured and everybody was set and you had to do things in a certain way, it actually helped to feel in control. But now we have a lot more choices and there's much more uncertainty. I'm just wondering if that actually might also be, it makes it difficult if you're anxious, because making decisions and making choices can get really hard.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of it that way.